Alright, everyone. Well, now that I got the best movies and video games list of 2024 out of the way, time to move on in into 2025. I apologize again for the delay. Better late than ever. But this time, it's video games. Yes, the top 10 video games that I'm anticipating most for this year. And as expected, release dates are always subject to change. So don't be surprised if they get pushed to next year or the year after that. The wait is always worth it. I mean, a delayed video game is always better than a rushed game, am I right? But anyway, without further ado, top 10 video games that I'm anticipating for 2025 this year, starting with number 10, Marvel's Wolverine. Yes, one that was postponed from 2024 to 2025, and the only reason I'm putting it this low on the list is because mainly there's still no official release date planned for this one, and it could get pushed again. Like I said, release dates for video games especially are subject to change, and I wouldn't be surprised with this one, though I am highly anticipating it because it's more or less a standalone video game sequel sort of to the Spider-Man games that came out for PlayStation consoles, and this one especially is also going to be released only for the PlayStation 5, and it looks great judging by the teaser trailer. I like the character Wolverine, and getting his own video game. It obviously wouldn't be his first one. You know, you had X-Men Origins Wolverine, which, despite being based off a crappy movie, was an awesome game. And this one, obviously, is not going to be movie licensed, much like the Spider-Man games and the Batman Arkham games. But, like I said, I'm not highly expecting it to be released in 2025. It would be great, but the more time and effort they put into it, especially being that it's made by the same company, Insomniac Games, the better it will be. So, make it awesome, bubs. Number 9, Jurassic Park Survival. Yes, another game that was postponed from 2024. Once again, I'm not surprised, but I do want a great Jurassic Park Survival game, being that it's based loosely off of a pretty awesome movie, and which got several sequels, as you know, and they're hit and miss. But this game looks to be pretty damn cool. Yeah, there were some great Jurassic Park games, like recently Jurassic World Evolution 2, but that's completely different because it's a park simulator building game. This one looks to be straight up like you're trying to escape, death on the Jurassic Park island on your own. It looks suspenseful, judging by the teaser trailer, and once again, I wouldn't be surprised if it gets postponed, but if it comes out in 2025, let's just say, spare no expense, that would be dynamite. But if they take their time, once again, that would be dynamite too, because you want it to be great too, right? You don't want it to be one big pile of shit. So, Saber Interactive, give us an awesome Jurassic Park survival game that puts us right in the midst of the horror and action of escaping and surviving Jurassic Park. Number 8, Borderlands 4. Yeah, I finally got myself into the Borderlands video games. I got the re-released versions on my Nintendo Switch, and I'm enjoying the hell out of the series. And I'm actually looking forward to this one. So, not much to say here. The characters are great. The shooting is a little repetitive. But, honestly, I can tolerate this one with a little bit of humor thrown in. And, well, I'm only hoping that this is obviously a better game than that crappy movie, which we obviously don't even want to speak of. I mean, that was just an abomination. And that's actually what got me to start playing the games, which unfortunately led me to that pile of shit. But not much to say. Looking forward to this one. Bring it on. Number 7, 1943, Rise of Hydra. Yeah, you gotta love these comic book video games, and once again, like the Spider-Man and Batman Arkham games and the upcoming Wolverine game, it's also going to be its own thing, not based off of a movie, more like the comic books, and basically you're taking control of Captain America, judging by the title of when it takes place in during World War II, trying to take down Hydra and trying to form a very uneasy alliance with the Black Panther. And in case you're confused, it's obviously, I'm assuming, Black Panther's father or grandfather, not the one played by Chadwick Boseman. Like I said, it's not movie licensed, but those are the main two hero characters that try to fight alongside each other to take down Hydra. And this looks like a pretty good one. I can only hope it's more like the Guardians of the Galaxy game, which I was skeptical on, but that was really fun. and the Spider-Man games and so forth, and less like the Avengers game, which we can all agree was pretty disappointing. So, Skydance New Media, don't disappoint us. Give us one that's just as awesome and fun as ever. More like the Guardians game, even though that's made by a different publisher, and the Spider-Man games, and less like the Marvel Avengers game. Please. Number 6, Mouse PI for Hire. Yeah, this is a pretty interesting and unique looking one, and I like the style of this game, being that it's sort of like a Disney black and white cartoon, except you're playing as a mouse detective with a gun, with first-person shooting, violence, and killing. I mean, it's like a Disney game that goes above and beyond just to cater to adults with violence. I mean, wow. They're definitely growing some balls here on this one, and obviously it's not going to be for kids. It's going to be a little more cartoonish, but like I said, I love the look and style of this one because I have played a game like this before that goes with this adult kind of theming with Cuphead. Yeah, it almost reminds me and gives me the same similar vibes as that one, and that had some pretty adult stuff in there with the devil and everything like that. So yeah, this one looks like a lot of fun. With this kind of animation style, it's very refreshing to say the least, even though unlike that game which was in color, this one's going to be in black and white. But like I said, with that vintage style feel, I'm all for it, trust me. And yes, it's not only going to be released on Xbox and PlayStation and Steam, but also on Switch. So this will be a lot of fun to be able to play at home and take on the go. You can't go wrong there. Number 5, The Midnight Walk. Number 5, The Midnight Walk. These artsy style games. And this one actually is a little more reminiscent looking of something like out of a Tim Burton or Henry Selick like movie, similar to something like Nightmare Before Christmas, James and the Giant Peach, or Coraline, or Corpse Bride, because of that still animation style and very weird but very creative looking type of world. I mean, I just got a thing for this type of animation. And it's just like anything else, very refreshing, and it opens itself up to a lot of creativity. And your character, as you guessed, walks out during nighttime, I'm assuming, with this creepy, eerie, but very foreboding atmosphere with all sorts of creatures and monsters that try to kill you while befriending a strange-looking lantern creature. Yeah, so can't go wrong here. And I've watched plenty of these kind of movies with this weird, but, as I said, creative style of animation. This should definitely be a must-get for anybody who's watched any of these type of still animation movies. I mean, it's much better looking than CGI, wouldn't you say? Not that I don't like those kind of movies, but hey, this one's definitely my cup of tea right here, judging by the trailer. And unfortunately, unlike the Mouse PI game, this one's not going to be available for Switch or Xbox even. It's only going to be available on PlayStation 5 and Windows, and it's also going to be VR compatible. Damn, I guess I gotta get a PlayStation VR 2 now, don't I? I mean, I only have the PSVR 1 for the PS4, so I guess it's time for an upgrade. But otherwise, this one looks pretty creepy, but pretty awesome, though. Don't disappoint us. Number 4, Assassin's Creed Shadows. Yeah, I know, the Assassin's Creed series may have overstayed its welcome. I mean, the series has been pretty hit and miss over the years, especially with 3 and Unity and Rogue. And though it's had some really great ones over the year, even though it's kind of deviated from what it really stood for, and though I did enjoy Assassin's Creed Valhalla, the other ones were, again, kind of hit and miss, but a lot of fun. Though this one, for many diehard fans of the first 2 games in the franchise, it looks to be going back to its original roots, taking place in ancient Japan, where you play as it looks like a samurai ninja, and just going on silent assassin kill missions. I mean, this is what Assassin's Creed should look like, and it hopefully will get this franchise back on track to much more familiar territory. Like I said, I didn't hate the other entries in this franchise, which were still good, but again, it didn't really give me that Assassin's Creed feel. Like Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag was fun, but felt more like a pirate game, which was obviously a much better Ubisoft game than Skull and Bones, wouldn't you say? So, I'm hoping this one will be just as enjoyable as I remembered with the first 2 games Mainly the second one I thought was better than the first, obviously, because they improved on that. And, well, Ubisoft, don't disappoint us. Number 3, Doom: The Dark Ages. That's right, Doom is back, baby. Yeah, and in case you're unfamiliar with the premise of this one story-wise, which most of the time you're just in it for the shooting and violence, but the story actually takes place before the first 2016 reboot, so it actually serves as a prequel, and all I could say is, judging by the trailer, it still looks awesome. And it looks to have that same familiar Doom feel, fast-paced first-person shooter type of game with what looks to be more weapons, environments, and lots of blood and gore like you remember in the last 2 games. I mean, don't disappoint us, Bethesda. You didn't with the last 2. We can only hope that this one will be just as awesome as ever, giving us the guns and explosives to kill the hell out of those monsters. Yeah. So, don't disappoint us. Number 2, Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Yeah, apparently this is what Metroid Prime 4's title is going to be, and all I can say is finally it's coming out after all these years of production hell and delays. So, yeah, I was definitely excited to hear about this one from Nintendo Direct's announcement. I mean, yes, Metroid Dread was great, but that's obviously not Metroid Prime. It was still a great game, and, well, still hoping for the other 2 Metroid Prime games to be released on Switch, remastered-wise. I mean, we got the first one, why not the other 2? But, yeah, it's great to finally hear about this one getting released, and all I can say, Nintendo, is don't disappoint us. Give us the Metroid 3D game on Switch, which obviously is the only console it's going to be released on since it's going to be an exclusive for that one. So, impress us, Nintendo. That's all I ask for. And the number 1 video game that I'm anticipating most for 2025 is... Come on, you already know it. Grand Theft Auto 6. Yes, that's right. If you recollect my anticipated video games list of 2024, at the end of 2023, that I mentioned briefly that Grand Theft Auto 6 is not getting released in 2024. It's getting released, unfortunately, at the end of 2025. But hey, the wait will be worth it. I mean, the other Grand Theft Auto games suffered through delays too as well, but it paid off. I mean, for Rockstar, you want them to take their time with this one and make it superb, even though it's been more than 10 years since Grand Theft Auto 5 first released in 2013, and that was a great game. It introduced some incredible-looking graphics and new elements, and being able to play as 3 different characters, I mean, yeah, it was everything it was hyped up to be for the newer generation consoles, and that's what I'm hoping this one's going to be just as well, with some characters that I'm not too familiar with, at least judging by what I've read about this game. Though I did see in more recently released trailers that Tommy Vercetti makes an appearance in this game. Not sure if they're going to use the voice from Ray Liotta, may he sadly rest in peace, but this obviously means we're heading back to Vice City, yes, the GTA equivalent of Miami, Florida. Back to the Sunshine State we go. So yeah, that's what they're basically doing with these games, because in Grand Theft Auto 5 it took place in Los Santos and in the desert, which we've seen in San Andreas, and with Grand Theft Auto 4 it took place in Liberty City, which we've seen in Grand Theft Auto 3, and, well, as I said, back in the Sunshine State of Vice City we go, with some new characters, and I'm assuming also being able to play as more than one. And with all the new social media and everything and all the newer stuff that's around with the technology, I'm going to imagine it's going to play a big role in this. And I'm expecting some awesome missions and gameplay mechanics. You know Rockstar, they can pull a lot of big surprises with these entries. They did a fantastic job with the last couple entries. And I can only hope for the sake, this one will be just as great, if not hopefully better, especially being on the PlayStation 5 for the first time as well as Xbox Series S. And, well, of course, there's probably going to be a PC version, but I usually don't bother with console ports of those games on PC or Steam, whatever you would buy it on. No offense, but seriously, I have a PlayStation 5. That's the one I'm going for. So, don't let us down, Rockstar. That's why I consider it number 1 of my most anticipated games of 2025. So, till next time, gamers, Happy New Year.